This is a brief tutorial on how to use the Greek Polytonic keyboard system in Macintosh operating system. First step is to choose from the Apple menu System Preferences. From here we want to choose Keyboard. My next step is to add here on the Input Sources tab of the Keyboard System Preference pane, the Greek Polytonic keyboard. I'm going to push the plus button in the lower left-hand corner. And we need to choose Greek. Now, I happen to have chosen it before, and this is why it appears at the top of the list, but you may have to scroll down, or you can even use the search bar here to find Greek. Now, it's really important that you choose on the right side Greek Polytonic. If you choose simply Greek, you'll get the modern Greek keyboard, and you won't be able to type using the accent marks and the breathing marks that you need for ancient Greek. Once I've chosen Greek Polytonic on the right side, I click Add, and you'll see on the left side of this window that I have the Greek Polytonic keyboard available to me. A couple of other settings to throw here on the keyboard system preference. If I click the keyboard tab of this system preference pane, down here about the middle third, I see the show keyboard emoji and symbol viewers in the menu bar. The effect of having this setting turned on is to be able to see up in the menu bar this menu, and especially the one that says show keyboard viewer. Once I have the Show Keyboard Viewer turned on, you can see that it appears in the language that I have enabled right now. It's the US keyboard. If I switch to the Greek Polytonic keyboard, we can see that the makeup of the on-screen keyboard changes. I can type simply by clicking here, but that's not usually the best way of doing it. Just for illustrative purposes, here I'm going to leave this keyboard up. As I switch over into Microsoft Word, we can do this in any word processor really. The easiest way, of course, to enter text is to simply copy and paste from a Bible software, but for the purposes of my assignment for NT102, we are going to type the text of John 1:1 to 1:5. Once I have the Greek keyboard enabled and installed, I can simply start typing, and the Greek keyboard layout is very similar to the English. So for epsilon, I'll type E. For nu, I type N, and so on. X for chi, H for eta. But there's no accent marks appearing. Now with the keyboard viewer turned on or enabled on screen, I can see at the right side of my screen a set of keys that are marked in bright orange. These are what we call dead keys. A dead key is a key that doesn't do anything visually, typically speaking, until we type another key in relationship to it. So in practical terms, if I wish to achieve an arche with all of the polytonic Greek accents, then I simply need to type epsilon with a smooth breathing, for instance. I must type the dead key before I type the epsilon. So the dead key for the smooth breathing is single quote. Once I've typed it, I can now type epsilon, and the epsilon will appear with a smooth breathing. New, and same procedure for alpha with a smooth breathing. Dead key comes first, alpha. Achieving accents works the same way. Achieving combinations of accents and breathing marks, again, the same way. But let's suppose I want an iota subscript. For this, it's best to use the Option key modifier That's the one to the left of the Command key on the Macintosh keyboard. You'll notice that the I English key turns into a little iota subscript. Once I type the I, now I can type any combination of eta with a subscript, omega with a subscript, or alpha with a subscript you can see on the keyboard viewer. In this situation, what I wish to achieve is a circumflex accent mark with the iota subscript, which on my English keyboard is the left square bracket. You can see it over here to the right. And I'm getting some visual clues that there's going to be an iota and a circumflex accent. Now I type eta on the Greek keyboard, and voila! There it is with the circumflex accent and the iota subscript. Now typically when you're typing in Greek you don't have the keyboard viewer turned on, but you can always turn it on or off over here in the upper right hand corner of your menu bar, or wherever it happens to fit. Now in terms of adjusting the fonts, of course, we can adjust the fonts to whatever we wish to use. GFS Dido is a font from the Greek Font Society, as the initials GFS imply. We'll use GFS Dido Regular here. This may appear differently depending on what fonts you have installed and which word processor you happen to be using. It's important to use Greek fonts that are able to handle all of the Greek Polytonic keyboard range. So you may be limited in terms of which fonts you can use on the Mac. Times New Roman is one of them. The font I'm using here is Cambria, which is one of the default Microsoft fonts. That will handle Greek Polytonic. But it's really very easy to set up Greek Polytonic keyboard on the Mac. The instructions are virtually the same if we switch to another operating system like Windows. For the NT102 Elements of Greek 2 assignment, we'll be typing the text of John 1, 1-5 in Greek. Submit your typed text of John 1, 1-5 in a PDF format with verse numbers and a title. For this assignment, you're not allowed to use Bible software to copy and paste. I want you to get used to using the Greek Polytonic keyboard so that you can edit Greek text that you've pasted into a paper or project you're working with. It takes some trial and error to get used to typing with a Greek keyboard, but be sure to get all of the accents and the breathing marks exactly as you see them in a printed Greek text or an electronic Greek text.